The stars had always whispered Earth's humble origins and secret ambitions, and tonight those whispers roared into a clarion call. A luminous hologram flickered to life over the urban sprawl of New London, its radiance cutting through the midnight haze. The message was as unequivocal as it was unexpected. Every member of the Galactic Council was to present a tribute, a display of worthiness, to secure their continued membership in a council that had long ruled with austere authority. For Earth, the underdog of an ancient galactic order, this decree was both an invitation and a challenge. The broadcast crackled through every available channel, stirring a fevered mixture of dread and defiance across the planet. In a matter of hours, government officials, military strategists, and ordinary citizens alike were thrust into an unprecedented state of alert. High above in orbit, command centers buzzed with a frenetic energy, the hum of data streams and intercoms, a modern chorus heralding the coming storm. There was little time for hesitation. The fate of humanity, its pride and future, hung in a delicate balance. In the corridors of the United Earth Defense Council, the mood was electric with determination. Admiral Elena Rivera, whose steely gaze had witnessed too many narrow escapes in humanity's history, stood before a sprawling digital map of the cosmos. "They think we need to prove our worth," she murmured, half to herself and half to the assembled strategists. "Let's show them that Earth is not just surviving, it's ready to conquer the impossible." Her voice, firm and resolute, was met with nods and murmurs of agreement. The eyes of the council were set not merely on survival, but on a calculated rebellion against destiny itself. Across the globe, in a cramped but spirited meeting room beneath the historic ruins of Old Manchester, a disparate group of engineers, scientists, and renegade tacticians convened. The air buzzed with a raw mix of ingenuity and urgency. "This is our chance to rewrite history," said a young pilot whose nerves belied a fierce, unyielding spirit. His words echoed in the room as plans and digital blueprints for a new kind of Armada flickered to life on the ancient walls. Here, in the heart of Earth's battered yet unbowed spirit, lay the genesis of a plan that would soon sweep across galaxies. While the old world of diplomatic protocol and rigid alien hierarchies lingered in distant orbits, the pulse of humanity surged with a new, dangerous audacity. The tribute was not just an obligation, it was an opportunity. Even as Earth's most esteemed historians recalled tales of past subjugation and exile, a renewed narrative was being forged in the fire of adversity. Rumors of secret experimental technologies and hyper-advanced jury-rigged spacecraft began to circulate through back-channel communications. Every whispered conversation and coded transmission hinted at a transformation, a metamorphosis from a beleaguered species into a formidable force unshackled by ancient edicts. In the darkness of space, ancient vessels from the Galactic Council already set their course toward Earth's rebellion, their sleek forms symbols of an order that underestimated the heart of a planet that had weathered centuries of oppression. Meanwhile, on Earth, clandestine meetings and high-stakes simulations unfolded in parallel, blending technology and raw human spirit into an intricate tapestry of hope and defiance. The looming tribute was fast approaching, and every second ticked away like a heartbeat in a race against oblivion. Beneath the vast canvas of the universe, Earth's response was coming together, a mosaic of valor, innovation, and the uncompromising will to redefine destiny. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer content to be a minor note in the ancient symphony of the cosmos. Its pulse, strong and vibrant, was ready to resonate across the stars. The spark of defiance had ignited a wildfire of resolve that would soon engulf the old order, signaling the beginning of an extraordinary saga of courage, conflict, and unexpected triumph. A single thought united all who heard that call: to rise, to fight, and to reclaim their rightful place among the stars. And as the cosmos watched, Earth prepared to send its armada, a testament of spirit, ingenuity, and unyielding pride, to the Galactic Council, ready to prove that sometimes the underdog writes the future. In the sprawling command center of Earth's primary spaceport, the tension was palpable. A colossal holographic map of the galaxy dominated the room, its flickering lights pinpointing both distant allies and the ominous approach of ancient alien vessels. Admiral Elena Rivera paced slowly in front of the projection, her eyes reflecting equal parts resolve and apprehension. "Our window is closing," she stated firmly, drawing the attention of every officer present. "We've been given a mandate that tests not only our skill, but our very spirit. Humanity will show the galaxy that our ingenuity is our greatest weapon." At her side stood Lieutenant Marcus Carter, a young pilot whose reputation for daring maneuvers was only eclipsed by his unwavering optimism. "Admiral, the engineers have finalized the new adaptive shield arrays," he reported, his voice echoing amidst the steady hum of data streams. "We're ready to integrate them with the Armada's systems. It's more than just technology. It's our lifeline against their centuries-old tactics." His words, spoken with a mix of excitement and a hint of nervousness, underscored the sheer magnitude of their undertaking. Across the room, Dr. Aurora Mills, the chief scientist behind many of Earth's unconventional innovations, leaned over a digital blueprint. "We have a secret weapon," she murmured, more to herself than to anyone else. Turning to face the assembly, she added, "A modified propulsion matrix that defies traditional physics. It could allow us to outmaneuver even the most advanced alien vessels." Her tone was a mix of hope and caution, an embodiment of Earth's relentless spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. The meeting was punctuated by lively exchanges, as strategy and counter-strategy unfolded in real time. General Hector Morales, a veteran of numerous conflicts, slammed his fist on the table. "We can't let sentiment cloud our judgment," he declared. "These aliens rely on their archaic traditions and rigid formations. Our unpredictability and rapid response, those are the assets that will win us this battle." His voice reverberated throughout the chamber, resonating with the grim determination of someone who had seen too many battles lost to complacency. As discussions deepened, the undercurrent of intrigue became undeniable. In a quieter corner of the room, Vice Admiral Leila Sato exchanged hushed words with an aide. "There are rumors," she confided, her gaze fixed on the hologram, "of an ancient relic hidden deep within our archives, a device said to channel raw cosmic energy. If we can harness that power, it might just tip the scales in our favor." The aide's eyes widened, and he nodded silently, the weight of that secret stirring a mix of hope and trepidation. Moments later, a secure communication channel opened, and a disembodied voice filled the room. "Admiral Rivera, this is Commander Reyes from the orbital outpost. We've intercepted encrypted signals suggesting that some alien factions might be hesitant to follow the Council's orders. There are whispers of dissent within their ranks." The transmission, laced with urgency, sent ripples through the room. "If we can confirm these defections," Admiral Rivera said, exchanging a determined look with Lieutenant Carter, we may have the diplomatic leverage we need to sow discord among their ranks. Carter responded immediately. I'm preparing a reconnaissance team. We'll infiltrate their communications array and verify these claims. It might be our chance to strike a dual blow, both militarily and psychologically. His words sparked a flurry of activity as officers scrambled to adjust plans and reallocate resources. While the high-level strategies unfolded, ordinary citizens and lower-ranking operatives across the planet were also gearing up for the monumental task ahead. In a makeshift workshop beneath a repurposed industrial complex, engineers soldered and reconfigured the final components of an experimental spacecraft. We're not just building a ship, one technician said with quiet pride. We're building the future of our species. The craftsmanship and passion evident in every bolt and wire reflected a broader truth. Humanity's spirit was unyielding, even when the odds were stacked against them. As the session drew to a close, Admiral Rivera took a moment to address her assembled team one final time. Remember, she intoned, her voice both a command and an inspiration. Our strength lies not only in our technology or tactics, but in our unity. Every sacrifice, every risk we take is for the promise of a future where Earth is more than a footnote in galactic history. Today, we stand united as the architects of that future. The room erupted in determined applause, the sound mingling with the distant hum of engines preparing for departure. In that charged atmosphere, the convergence of minds was not merely a meeting of experts. It was a forge, melting together every scrap of hope, resolve, and defiant spirit into a single, unbreakable will. Humanity was about to embark on a journey that would reshape the very fabric of the galaxy, and every heartbeat in that command center throbbed with the promise of what was to come. In the dim glow of the operations room aboard the reconnaissance vessel, Vanguard, Lieutenant Marcus Carter studied the incoming data streams with a keen intensity. The quiet hum of the vessel's engines blended with the rapid beeping of monitors, creating an atmosphere of both urgency and suspense. We're approaching the enemy's communication node, he announced, his voice steady but edged with anticipation. His team, hand-picked for their expertise and unwavering resolve, gathered around him. Among them, Specialist Jana Reyes and Technician Malik Ortiz exchanged nervous glances, aware that this mission might unearth secrets that could change everything. Keep your comms open, Marcus instructed, tapping a sequence on the control panel. We need to intercept every transmission. If there's any sign of dissent among the Council's ranks, we must capture it. The room filled with focused silence as every crew member absorbed the gravity of the moment. At that precise moment, a garbled message emerged from the static. System override. Defection confirmed. Coordinates hidden. The fragmented transmission sent a ripple of shock through the team. Specialist Reyes leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Defection? You mean some council ships are breaking ranks? She asked, her voice low yet tinged with hope. Marcus's jaw tightened as he processed the revelation. It appears so, he replied. This could be our opening, a crack in the enemy's armor. The twist came swiftly. While decoding the intercepted message, Technician Ortiz noticed an anomaly in the data logs. Lieutenant, something's not adding up, he said, fingers dancing over the interface. I'm picking up repeated encryption patterns that aren't typical of standard council protocols. It's as if someone is deliberately sending us false signals. His words hung in the air, a chilling reminder that not all was as it seemed. Marcus frowned and activated a secure channel to Admiral Rivera. Admiral, we've intercepted transmissions suggesting a defection within the Council, but there's a catch. Our systems are flagging irregular encryption sequences. I believe we're being fed manipulated data." The Admiral's voice, calm yet laced with concern, crackled through the speaker. "Understood, Lieutenant. Maintain your course, but exercise extreme caution. Verify every detail before acting on it. The Council may be playing a deeper game than we anticipated." As the Vanguard circled a darkened nebula, a cosmic labyrinth that concealed more than just spatial anomalies, the team prepared for a closer inspection. Specialist Reyes initiated a direct link with the alien communication hub, and for a few breathless moments, every eye was glued to the swirling patterns on the screen. Then, as if on cue, a clearer image formed. A visual overlay of coordinates, ship identifiers, and a series of cryptic codes. Malik Ortiz's voice broke the silence. "These codes, they hint at a hidden command relay, possibly used by a faction within the Council to coordinate a covert operation. But why leak false defection signals?" A murmur of speculation rippled through the team. Could there be a schism so deep that a faction within the ancient regime was planning to undermine their own? The idea was as audacious as it was perilous. Marcus leaned over to Specialist Reyes. "Prepare a secondary channel. I want a live feed from that relay. We need to confirm whether it's a genuine act of rebellion or an elaborate trap." Reyes's fingers flew over the keyboard, and within seconds, a grainy live transmission materialized on their screens, a shadowy figure in an unfamiliar uniform, speaking in a language laced with both defiance and regret. The figure's words, though partially obscured by static, carried a weight that sent shivers down everyone's spine. "To those who dare to listen, we have been misled by our leaders for far too long. The true enemy wears the face of order, but it is chaos that fuels our freedom. If you are prepared to embrace the unknown, join us. Our destiny awaits beyond the veil of deceit." The message cut off abruptly, leaving a silence that vibrated with unspoken promises and hidden dangers. Marcus's eyes met those of his team, his resolve hardened by the conflicting layers of truth and deception. "This changes everything," he declared, his voice low and determined. "We must verify these coordinates immediately." If there is indeed an internal rebellion within the Council, aligning with it could tip the balance in our favor. But we cannot trust every byte of data. We need to be one step ahead. In that fraught moment, the Vanguard was no longer just a reconnaissance ship. It had become the spearhead of an unfolding conspiracy that could redefine the war. With each keystroke and whispered command, the crew delved deeper into a labyrinth of encrypted lies and covert alliances. The line between friend and foe blurred, leaving them to wonder, in a universe ruled by ancient powers, who truly held the reins of control. As the vessel began its silent approach toward the mysterious relay station, every crew member knew that their next actions would not only impact their mission, but the very fate of humanity. The twist in the tale had been set. A hidden rebellion, veiled in layers of deceit, promised to upend centuries of alien dominance. And as the Vanguard edged closer to the unknown, the delicate balance between hope and treachery teetered on a razor's edge, ready to ignite a spark that might change the course of interstellar history. The Vanguard shuddered as it emerged from the nebula's veiled corridor, its sensors revealing a ghostly silhouette of the relay station against a backdrop of distant stars. In the cramped briefing room, Lieutenant Marcus Carter surveyed the holographic display with a furrowed brow. The intercepted signals had grown increasingly erratic, hinting at an internal conflict among the Council's ranks, but they also carried a dangerous uncertainty. We have a choice to make, Marcus said, his voice low and measured as he addressed the gathered team. Do we trust these anomalies and risk direct contact with a rogue faction, or do we hold our position and wait for irrefutable evidence? Specialist Jana Reyes's eyes flashed with determination as she countered. Waiting might be safe, but it could cost us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If these signals are genuine, we need to seize this moment before our adversaries regroup. A secure transmission from Admiral Rivera cut through the tension, her voice resolute. The success of this mission depends on swift action. Form an elite strike team to infiltrate the relay station and secure the data. I know the risk is great, but the potential to fracture the Council from within could redefine our war. Her words left no room for hesitation. Failure was not an option. Marcus continued. Captain Alina, you're with me. Reyes, you'll handle technical surveillance from the Vanguard as we move in. Ortiz, prepare countermeasures for potential cyber defenses. We're about to embark on a mission where every decision could be our last. Captain Alina, a veteran whose eyes held the weight of previous battles, replied, Marcus, if this is a trap, we need a way out. But if we push forward and succeed, it might be the key to turning the tide. The hard edges of uncertainty and valor were etched clearly in her tone. The plan was set. The Vanguard lowered its shields as a sleek, stealth-capable shuttle, the Phantom, detached from the main vessel. In the shuttle's dim cockpit, as stars blurred past the viewport, Captain Alina and Lieutenant Carter reviewed the final coordinates on a flickering holographic map. We'll approach from behind the asteroid belt, Marcus explained. It'll provide cover until we breach the station's outer defenses. Alina nodded, gripping the controls tightly. Once we're in, we move fast. We have one shot to extract the data before they can respond. Back on the Vanguard, Specialist Reyes initiated a continuous surveillance loop. I'll monitor all incoming signals, she assured over the comm channel. If anything deviates, I'll alert you immediately. Our success hinges on real-time intel. Her words, calm yet resolute, were a vital link between the strike team and command. As the Phantom edged closer to the relay station, its sensors detected a sudden surge of energy, a protective shield emanating from the alien installation. Technician Ortiz's urgent voice echoed over the comm. We're picking up an active defensive field. There's also chatter of automated drones, likely part of their perimeter defense. The warning sent a chill down everyone's spine. Hard decisions were no longer theoretical. They were imminent and perilous. Captain Alina's eyes narrowed as she stared at the data feed. Do we risk disabling that shield and exposing ourselves to a full-scale counterattack, or do we find another way in? Marcus's mind raced through the possibilities, the weight of command pressing down with every passing second. After a tense silence, he replied, We must try to neutralize the shield. Our objective, the data, could expose a rift within the enemy. If we hesitate now, we might lose everything. Agreed, Alina said firmly. I'm initiating the disruptor sequence. The Phantom's energy disruptor fired a concentrated burst at the shield. In a dazzling flash, the protective field flickered and then collapsed inwards. That's our opening, Marcus announced as the shuttle surged forward. Within moments, the strike team breached the relay station's perimeter. Inside, a labyrinth of alien circuitry and encrypted conduits spread before them like the neural network of an ancient mind. Download initiated, Reyes reported in a crisp tone over the channel as data began streaming from the station's core. But I'm detecting a counterhack in progress. Someone is trying to overwrite our access. A sudden burst of static shattered the calm. "We're under fire!" Ortiz shouted as energy bolts ricocheted off the shuttle's exterior, forcing the team to duck for cover. Alina's hands danced over the controls. "Brace yourselves! Divert power to evasive maneuvers!" The Phantom swerved as drones emerged from hidden recesses, their forms lit by the eerie glow of alien weaponry. Marcus barked over the chaos. "Focus on the data extraction. We can't let them sever our link." The strike team split into a dual task, fighting off the unexpected assault while securing the information. Every second stretched into an eternity of hard decisions. Engage the enemy head-on or prioritize the mission at the risk of lives. The balance was razor-thin. Amid the chaos, Specialist Reyes's steady voice came through once more. "Data package secured, but we're losing access to the main relay. I need a few more seconds." A pause, then an alarm. "Incoming reinforcements!" Ortiz added urgently. "Our window is closing!" Marcus and Alina exchanged a grim look before he said, "We have no choice. Retreat on my mark. Prioritize survival over perfection." In that breathless moment, the team chose the harder path, risking the data loss if it meant survival, all while knowing that every heartbeat was a gamble against the overwhelming odds. As the Phantom abruptly pulled away from the crumbling station, the relay's secrets clutched tightly in their databanks. Every crew member felt the weight of the hard decisions made. The battlefield of uncertainty receded behind them, leaving only the bitter taste of risk and the flicker of hope that these dangerous gambles might finally expose the fractures in the ancient order. The future of Earth now rested on the precipice of revelation, carved from the embers of courage and sacrifice in the dark heart of the cosmos. The Vanguard glided silently through the dark expanse of space, its interior lit only by the soft glow of console screens and the determined expressions of its crew. In the aftermath of the desperate extraction, tension now simmered in the command center as the stolen data began its decryption process. Lieutenant Marcus Carter stood at the helm of a circular table, his gaze fixed on a holographic display that pulsed with streams of coded information. Around him, his team gathered, each lost in thought and anticipation of what secrets might lie hidden within the digital labyrinth. Dr. Aurora Mills, newly assigned to the decryption unit, broke the heavy silence. "The data we recovered isn't just about a single relay. It's a mosaic. Embedded in these layers are coordinates, strategic diagrams, and cryptic messages." Her fingers danced over the virtual interface as she highlighted segments of the code. "It appears to be a map pointing to several undisclosed installations, possibly the nerve centers of the Council's covert operations." Specialist Jana Reyes interjected, her voice edged with urgency. "If that's true, then this isn't just about gathering evidence. It's about unmasking the core of their power structure. We might have stumbled onto a conspiracy that runs deeper than we imagined." Her tone conveyed equal parts excitement and concern as she leaned in, scrutinizing the intricate patterns. Before anyone could respond, a crisp communication alert echoed through the chamber. Admiral Rivera's recorded message, transmitted earlier, flashed onto the main display. "Our window to exploit these vulnerabilities is rapidly closing. Decode the cipher, and if it holds even a fraction of the truth, prepare for immediate action. Earth's future depends on it." The weight of those words pressed on every heart in the room. Marcus exchanged a determined look with Captain Alina. "We need to decide now," he said, his voice firm yet tinged with worry. "If these installations are as vital as it seems, they might already be preparing defenses. We have two choices: continue our analysis here on the Vanguard, or risk dispatching a team to one of these coordinates immediately. Captain Alina's eyes narrowed. Rushing in without full intel could be a fatal mistake, but delaying might let our enemies fortify their positions. What's our best move? She asked, glancing at Dr. Mills for insight. Aurora hesitated before replying. I can isolate a segment of the data that appears to be the most coherent. A key that might reveal not only the location, but the purpose of one of these nodes. Give me 20 minutes. I need to bypass several layers of alien encryption. As she worked fervently, Technician Malik Ortiz monitored the external sensors. I'm picking up anomalous energy spikes near the outer hull, likely probing drones. It seems our intrusion hasn't gone unnoticed, he reported, voice steady despite the undercurrent of alarm. Marcus leaned forward. Then we must be prepared for immediate extraction. Reyes, keep our channels open and alert us to any further external contact. Ortiz, ensure all countermeasures are primed. We can't afford to lose this data or our ship's integrity. A tense pause followed as the crew absorbed the gravity of their predicament. Outside, the silent hum of approaching drones underscored the urgency. Suddenly, a fragment of decrypted data flashed on Aurora's screen, a series of coordinates accompanied by a chilling message. The iron hand of destiny lies within the hidden citadel. Only those who dare may claim the legacy of the fallen. What do you make of that? Captain Alina asked, voice barely above a whisper, as if the words themselves carried a curse. Aurora's eyes widened. It suggests that one of these nodes is not merely a military outpost. It could be the control hub for an ancient device, something capable of influencing entire fleets. This isn't just data. It's a rallying cry for insurgents within the Council, or a trap set by those who've lost faith in their own order. Marcus's jaw tightened. We have to assume every installation is a double-edged sword. If we act on this without caution, we might trigger a chain reaction we cannot control. But if we hesitate, we risk letting the enemy consolidate their power. At that moment, an alert rang out over the comm system, a clear, staccato signal that the external probes had shifted from observation to active interference. Malik's voice cut through the mounting tension. Incoming drones are accelerating towards us. This is no longer a passive scan. We need to initiate evasive protocols immediately. Alina quickly took the helm of the Vanguard, issuing rapid commands to divert power to the defensive arrays. Brace for impact, everyone! We're moving to a secure trajectory while Aurora finalizes the decryption. The room erupted into a flurry of coordinated activity as team members manned stations and prepared for the imminent encounter. Amid the chaos, Marcus gathered his closest officers. Listen up, our mission is clear. Once Aurora extracts the complete cipher, we must decide whether to send a strike team to that coordinate immediately or hold our position for further intel. This decision could change the balance of power in our favor, or doom us if we misstep. Reyes's voice rang out with steely resolve. We trust your judgment, Lieutenant. Let's ensure every move we make is calculated. The stakes are too high for anything less than perfection. As the drone's silhouettes loomed on the viewport, a final piece of the puzzle clicked into place on Aurora's console. I've got it! She exclaimed, fingers flying over the interface. The key is here, a detailed layout of what seems to be the central command facility. It's heavily guarded, but its defenses appear vulnerable to a coordinated EMP strike. If we can disable its systems, we might expose not only the internal descent, but also cripple a major asset of the Council. A hush fell over the team as they contemplated the implications. The encrypted message had morphed from a tantalizing whisper into a clear directive, a beacon calling out for revolution, or a carefully orchestrated trap. Marcus took a deep breath, the burden of command palpable. "We're at a crossroads," he said quietly. "Our next move must be as daring as it is precise. Prepare your teams. The fate of Earth, and perhaps the entire galaxy, rests on our decision tonight." In that charged moment, as the vanguard soared away from the immediate threat and into the unknown, every crew member knew that the cipher they had uncovered was more than just information. It was the key to unearthing a legacy of rebellion, a hidden citadel of power that could redefine the war. And with that realization, the crew steeled themselves for the next step in their audacious journey into the heart of deception. The decrypted blueprint burned in Dr. Aurora Mills's mind as the vanguard sailed into uncharted territory. The coordinate, hidden in the depths of an ancient nebula, pointed to a colossal, heavily fortified structure, the fabled Citadel. In the strategy chamber, Lieutenant Marcus Carter gathered his core team around the holographic projection of the alien stronghold. The room was dimly lit, every face etched with determination and apprehension. "We've identified the weak points in their defenses," Marcus began, his voice steady despite the tension. "The Central Command Facility's energy matrix is vulnerable to an EMP strike, but getting in won't be easy. Captain Alina, you'll lead the assault team. Dr. Mills, your analysis will guide our entry points. Reyes, maintain our external surveillance. Ortiz, prep our countermeasures for immediate extraction." Captain Alina's eyes burned with resolve. "Marcus, our intel suggests this citadel is not just a military outpost. It's the nerve center of the Council's clandestine operations. One misstep could trigger an all-out retaliation." Aurora interjected, her fingers dancing over her portable decryption module. "I'm already cross-referencing the Citadel's layout with the Council's communication arrays. There's an access tunnel beneath the southern quadrant, lightly guarded due to structural weaknesses. It could be our way in." A burst of static interrupted the discussion, and a holographic alert materialized with the urgent timbre of Admiral Rivera's voice. "Time is of the essence. Engage swiftly. The enemy is mobilizing." Without further hesitation, the assault team moved out in the cramped corridors of the vanguard. The shuttle, dubbed Valkyrie, detached and raced toward the nebula, its hull shimmering against the cosmic backdrop. Inside, Marcus, Alina, and a select group of commandos huddled in the cockpit. "Coordinates locked," Ortiz reported, his tone calm despite the adrenaline crackling in the air. "Entering the tunnel in T-30 seconds. I've primed our EMP disruptors for synchronized activation." The shuttle's engines roared as it pierced the nebula's murk, and soon the Citadel loomed ahead, an immense edifice of iridescent metal and pulsating energy. The team landed on a narrow, debris-strewn platform adjacent to a concealed access hatch. "Steady now," whispered Alina, as she led the team through dim, echoing passageways. The corridors were lined with alien hieroglyphs and pulsing conduits that radiated an eerie blue light. Suddenly, a sensor beeped urgently on Alina's wrist display. "Multiple patrol drones ahead," she murmured. Marcus motioned for silence. "We split into 2 teams. Alina, take your team around the eastern corridor. I'll handle the west. We rendezvous at the central chamber once the EMP is in place." In the tense silence of the corridor, the soft hum of patrol drones grew louder. Alina's team crouched behind a bulkhead as a drone swept past, its scanning beam slicing through the darkness. "Clear," one of her soldiers hissed over the comm. "Move out on my mark." At the same moment, in the West Wing, Marcus and his unit encountered resistance. "Engage!" he ordered as laser fire erupted from concealed turrets. Blaster bolts streaked across the corridor, ricocheting off ancient walls. "Take cover and return fire! Neutralize those turrets!" Marcus barked, ducking behind a reinforced console as a burst of energy scorched the floor. Back with Alina's team, Specialist Reyes's voice crackled in the comm. "I've hacked into their security feeds. There's a clear path toward the central node. Hurry up, the drones are converging." In the heat of combat, time blurred. Alina's team used shadow and speed, bypassing the few sentries with swift, silent takedowns. Meanwhile, Marcus coordinated his men in a barrage of precise counterattacks, disabling turret after turret. "This is our chance!" he shouted as he rallied his squad to push forward. At the heart of the citadel, deep within a chamber filled with humming power cores and intricate circuitry, the team regrouped. "Status report!" Marcus demanded as he scanned the room's control panel. Dr. Mills, having followed the data trail, joined them with her portable module. "I've interfaced with the central system. The EMP trigger is in the main conduit here," she said, her voice wavering between excitement and caution. "But there's one anomaly, a secondary security protocol that wasn't in our original data. It's adaptive. We need to disable it before we fire the disruptor, or the explosion might collapse the entire structure." Alina's eyes flicked to Marcus. "We're already running on a tight clock. If we don't act now, the enemy reinforcements will breach this chamber." "Marcus, you decide," she urged. Marcus took a deep breath, his gaze hardening with resolve. "I'm going to split the team. One group will guard the access while the rest work on neutralizing the security protocol." He paused, his voice dropping to a determined whisper. "We either do this swiftly and cleanly, or we risk everything." A tense moment followed as the team exchanged glances. Then, with synchronized precision, they began their work, fighting off intermittent enemy drones that swarmed the corridor and racing against the relentless countdown of the Citadel's automated defense systems. Outside the chamber, through the chaos of battle and the sound of laser fire, a singular decision hung in the balance, a decision that could not be undone. The fate of Earth's Armada, and perhaps the very future of humanity, depended on the success of this bold, perilous assault. Inside the heart of the Citadel's central chamber, the atmosphere was dense with tension and unspoken dread. The EMP disruptor lay primed, its countdown ticking steadily against the backdrop of humming alien machinery. The team worked in near silence. Each keystroke and measured breath underscored the weight of what was about to transpire. Dr. Aurora Mills and Lieutenant Marcus Carter concentrated on disabling the adaptive security protocol that threatened to derail their mission. The room, bathed in the eerie glow of pulsating energy cores, bore witness to the culmination of countless risks. Without the distraction of idle chatter, every movement carried purpose. The delicate balance of code and command was maintained with clinical precision until a sudden anomaly shattered the calm. A flicker on the main control panel, a surge of unauthorized commands, sent a chill down Marcus's spine. At first, it seemed a simple glitch, but the rapid escalation of system overrides hinted at deliberate sabotage. A series of locked controls and erratic data streams revealed that someone within their ranks was tampering with the crucial security sequence. The culprit became unmistakably clear as technician Malik Ortiz's console began to emit erratic signals, diverging sharply from the prearranged protocol. His actions, subtle at first, evolved into a cascade of unauthorized commands that forced the Citadel's defenses to activate prematurely. The betrayal, silent yet devastating, spread like a malignant virus through the system. In that charged moment, Marcus's eyes darkened with a mixture of shock and resolve. A single thought coalesced in his mind. The enemy was now fighting from within. The betrayal did not remain hidden for long. A private communication intercepted on a secondary channel revealed the unthinkable. Ortiz had been in clandestine contact with an external faction of the Council, his loyalty compromised by promises too great to ignore. No words were needed to convey the betrayal's sting. The cold, mechanical beep of confirmation was enough. The revelation sliced through the room like a jagged shard of ice, shattering the fragile unity that had carried them this far. As the sabotage took effect, the Citadel responded with a violent surge. Automated drones, previously dormant, burst into life, their energy weapons spitting streams of deadly light. The once controlled environment descended into chaos. Marcus, his focus sharpened by betrayal, barked silent commands with the urgency of a man who had lost a comrade to treachery. The loyal members of the team surged into action, fighting back against the relentless tide of hostile drones and defensive turrets that now filled the chamber with staccato bursts of energy. Every step forward was fought with ferocity, every heartbeat a desperate assertion of humanity's indomitable will. Amid the tumult, Captain Alina moved swiftly through the smoky haze, her every movement a blend of precision and desperation. With minimal words, her determined gaze conveyed the message. They had to secure the EMP trigger at all costs, regardless of the mounting losses. The betrayal had left them exposed, and the Citadel's defenses were now their most immediate threat. In the swirling chaos, the sound of explosions and clashing energies merged with the labored breaths of warriors who fought not only for their mission, but for the soul of their beleaguered planet. Marcus led his remaining loyalists through corridors that quaked with the destabilizing pulse of the premature EMP activation. Each step was a battle against time, a race to override the sabotage before the Citadel's full might could be brought to bear against them. With systems straining under the dual pressures of internal sabotage and external assault, the decision loomed. Marcus's mind churned through possibilities with relentless urgency. If they did nothing, the enemy would consolidate its power, and the fractured trust within their own ranks would become a wound too deep to heal. Instead, with a grim finality etched into his features, he initiated the EMP sequence early. The device's surge rippled outward in a shockwave of pure, unbridled energy, engulfing the chamber in a cataclysmic pulse. In the ensuing explosion of light and sound, automated defenses faltered, and the relentless drones were disabled mid-flight. Yet, the cost was palpable. The EMP's disruptive force tore through delicate systems, leaving the room in disarray. The silence that followed was heavy with loss and betrayal, a bittersweet lull where the echoes of shattered loyalty mingled with the desperate hope of survival. As the team regrouped amidst the wreckage, a somber realization settled over them. The betrayal had nearly undone everything. The damaged Citadel, now crippled by its own defenses, offered them a narrow window to extract what remained of the critical data. Amid scattered debris and the fading glow of the EMP's aftershock, Marcus and his loyal comrades prepared to retreat. Their hearts, scarred by treachery, still burned with the fierce determination to reclaim Earth's destiny from the clutches of an oppressive order. In that final, breathless moment, the fractured alliance stood on the brink, a testament to human resilience and the cost of trust betrayed. The path forward was uncertain, but even as the damaged structure of the Citadel loomed behind them, the spark of defiance remained undimmed. The next chapter of their war was about to begin. Inside the shattered corridors of the Citadel, every heartbeat echoed like a war drum. The relentless pulse of alien machinery, disrupted by the premature EMP and subsequent sabotage, now throbbed with unstable energy. Lieutenant Marcus Carter led his remaining loyalists through crumbling passageways, their faces set in grim determination. With the critical data secured and the enemy's command protocols fractured, the final phase of their audacious plan had begun. In a vast chamber lined with flickering consoles and damaged power cores, Dr. Aurora Mills raced to complete the final decryption. Her hands trembled slightly as she keyed in the last sequences, deciphering fragments that revealed the Council's remaining control network, a web that connected the scattered fleets and maintained the Ancient Order's grip over countless worlds. The data pulsed on her screen like a countdown. "We're almost there," she murmured, eyes fixed on the cascading code. Across the chamber, Captain Alina's team fended off sporadic bursts of enemy fire. Automated drones, reactivated by a last-ditch override, darted through the corridors with lethal precision. The sound of shattering energy and the roar of blaster bolts created a chaotic symphony. In the midst of the turmoil, a single desperate command cut through the clamor. "Hold your positions. Don't let them breach the core." Alina's steely gaze never wavered as she coordinated silent, precise movements, ensuring that every step brought them closer to their objective. Outside the Citadel, the Vanguard and the newly arrived Armada, led by Admiral Elena Rivera, shone like defiant stars against the cosmic void. In the command bridge of the flagship, Rivera's voice resonated with unwavering authority. "All ships, engage the enemy formation. Our moment has arrived. Let every bolt fired and every shield deployed remind them, humanity refuses to be subdued." Her words, crackling over the comms, spurred the fleet into action as they surged forward, unleashing a barrage of energy torpedoes and laser fire that lit up the dark expanse. Back inside the Citadel, as Mills decrypted the final layers of the Council's network, a sudden surge of raw energy coursed through the central conduit. The decrypted command, a detailed override sequence, rippled outward like an electrical storm, destabilizing the alien systems. With little dialogue exchanged in the frantic moments, Marcus and his team shared determined glances. They knew this was their only chance. Marcus barked a curt order. "Initiate the override now." At his signal, a hastily assembled squad moved to the main control terminal. With swift, calculated keystrokes, they launched the final sequence. For a moment, silence reigned, a pregnant pause before the storm. Then the Citadel shuddered violently. Lights flickered, and the alien security protocols that had once seemed invincible began to collapse in on themselves. In the command bridge of the flagship, Admiral Rivera monitored the unfolding chaos with a mix of relief and steely resolve. "The weak points are exposed," she declared, watching enemy ships lose formation and communication. "Concentrate fire on the central hub. Now is our chance to shatter their command structure once and for all." The Armada, a kaleidoscope of determined human ingenuity, surged with renewed vigor. Explosions rippled across the enemy fleet as ship after ship faltered under the relentless assault. Within the Citadel, the impact of the override was immediate and cataclysmic. The once formidable defense systems stuttered and died as the alien architecture crumbled from within. Alina and Marcus led the retreat through corridors, now falling silent, each step a defiant march toward freedom. The betrayal that had once threatened to undo them, The treachery of Malik Ortiz and the internal chaos it unleashed had been eclipsed by their unwavering unity and resolute purpose. In a final act of defiance, the human team activated a secondary protocol that not only secured the critical data but also broadcast the Council's internal vulnerabilities to Allied forces scattered throughout the galaxy. The revelation sent shockwaves through the ancient regime. Long-held secrets and hidden fractures were exposed to all. With every passing moment, the balance of power shifted inexorably in humanity's favor. As the remaining drones disintegrated into sparks and the automated turrets fell silent, the sound of the distant battle reached a crescendo. The enemy fleet, now leaderless and disoriented, began to disintegrate under the overwhelming might of Earth's unified Armada. In the heart of the once impenetrable citadel, the final transmission from Dr. Mills came through, soft but resolute. "We've done it. The command network is ours." Marcus, standing amidst the ruins, allowed himself a brief moment of solemn relief. "Today, we reclaim our destiny," he said quietly, his voice carrying both the weight of loss and the promise of a new dawn. Around him, the weary yet determined faces of his team reflected the cost of victory. A victory hard won through sacrifice, unyielding courage, and the relentless spirit of a people who had refused to be broken. In the expanse of space, as Earth's Armada pressed the final advantage, the message was clear. Humanity had risen from the ashes of oppression. The ancient order had been shattered not by overwhelming force alone, but by the spark of defiance, the ingenuity of its people, and the unity forged in the crucible of adversity. With the citadel in ruins and the Council's grip finally loosened, the future shone bright, an era where Earth's indomitable spirit would lead the galaxy into a new chapter of hope and freedom. The battle was over, and the victory was resounding. Humanity had not only met the challenge, they had redefined what it meant to be truly unstoppable,